Look what I finally found. And I've seen those eyes before. If you guys see what I think I'm seeing, hold on, I'm going to use my other camera here.
Why did it just sound like somebody coughed?
The worst wilderness encounters begin when you realize the dark has noticed you. A trail of blood leads through grizzly territory, and somewhere else. Strangers whisper outside a tent before ripping it down over the camper inside. If that happened to you, would you scream or stay silent and hope they leave? On January 25th, 2021, Heidi keeps renovating her countryside farmhouse on the YouTube channel, Lil Red Heidi Hood, known for homesteading and rural living. That day, she goes into a 150-year-old woodshop in the farmhouse attic. Spaces untouched for decades. What should be ordinary work gradually turns uncomfortable as the old buildings answer with quiet, movement, and noises that never fully explain themselves.
In the wood shop with me, you guys, this is an absolute snake den, but I'm trying to find some good pieces of wood. So I'm gonna try to find and salvage a few pieces of wood to build something here in a minute. Stay tuned and see what I can find. Oh, I just know there's a snake under there.
Oh, pay attention to your hand. Oh, that's pretty. Yeah.
Look at that.
Awesome.
Really cool.
Awesome.
That would actually match that other
I
piece.
was thinking the same thing.
The way they cut it, old mill. The way that's got these lines on there. I don't see another one.
Yeah, I like those thick ones that were up under that. Pull that up and out of the way.
I'm trying. What do you think I'm doing? You think this is a Build-A-Bitch workshop? Which one am I trying to get?
Yeah, what happened to those neat ones I saw under that piece? Right behind that piece that looks like a wood. That looks like real wood.
Yeah. Oh, God. I want my death to be documented.
It's kind of a slow death when a snake bites you. I've been after Heidi for months, so let's get out here and clean out this workshop and separate the wood.
I ain't even getting paid for this.
It'll be rewarding.
No, it won't.
That's a big bad boy.
Ooh, that's pretty. Alright, I think I'm done for a minute. Look at this piece. That is gorgeous. The knots are still intact and everything.
Yeah. I want that piece.
You kidding me? Gotta put in the work, sis.
Inside the 150-year-old woodshop, Heidi says more than once that the place is a snake den. Each step is cautious, each piece of lumber raised slowly. The fear does not come from sight.
What's this supposed to be doing? Just give me some light. Where?
Right there. You might can just do that piece of cement. Oh no.
Oh, look at all those ladybugs.
I know, that's behind the chimney. You can't get to the boards to replace them there.
But from what might be concealed under the floor and boards, later, Heidi climbs into the farmhouse attic. The area is dark, tight, and covered with bat droppings. Sunlight slips through openings in the roof, exposing decay, age, and how vulnerable the house really is.
The woodshed, it got quite spidery. Saw a couple black widows. The rest of the stuff that's in there is just little rotten. So took a break, and my mom is up on the roof now.
Back in the woodshop, the tension increases when Heidi confirms black widow spiders. Cleaning becomes risky. One careless move here could bring more than a simple fright. Near the video's end, the earlier warnings turn real.
You guys, I just heard a snake slithering. I couldn't see it though, it was up under. No, I just saw it slithering up under a bunch of these leaves over here in this corner. And I heard it first, and then I saw the leaves moving, and I threw something over there and it went. So I kind of think we should go in there into that corner. Right over there, like see where that I threw that piece right there? That's laying flat. Alright, just be quiet. I'm gonna throw something else and see if we can hear it. You hear it? It's right under there. You hear it? You can't deny that.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to find out where he is.
Well, he could be coming out this way.
Dry leaves suddenly move. The sound is clear, A snake is shifting just below the surface. Close, hidden, and alive.
Something's in the wall.
But I'm sure it's a squirrel.
Yeah, it sounds more aggressive than the last one.
As night comes in, rough scratching and banging burst from inside the wooden wall. The noise becomes forceful and nearby. Neither Heidi nor her mother can tell what is inside, leaving the moment unanswered. Some viewers point to animals, weak insulation, or rodents in the walls. Logical causes for an old farmhouse. But if it is only wildlife, why did the sound seem deliberate? And why did everyone suddenly freeze? On November 15th, 2025, Luke from the YouTube channel Outdoor Boys is left alone along a remote section of Alaska's Bering Sea coast. Known for survival and outdoor education, the channel follows Luke into harsh environments. This trip carries a grim purpose, locating a dead walrus thrown ashore after a storm. Before bears or tide can claim it first, in this place, isolation feels like a warning.
Look at this. See, there's the fresh grizzly bear tracks, and you can tell that there's layers of old prints underneath that. Grizzly bears like to walk up and down the same trails. I definitely don't want to leave my gear on this trail or I'm going to have bear problems. I got off the grizzly bear trail and I can see another trail going right through here. You can see here the hoof prints. These are all caribou tracks. I've got about 3.5 miles to go down that beach to get to the walrus carcass. Most of my gear right here and hope the bears don't find it before I get back.
While walking the shoreline, Luke spots fresh grizzly tracks stamped into wet sand. They are big, sharp, and recent. The discovery is unnerving because it proves the beach is active and whatever left them may still be nearby.
That body is going to be a long and disgusting process, so I think I'm going to have myself some lunch before I get started. I'll be honest, it doesn't smell very good where I'm sitting.
Farther along the coast, Luke reaches the walrus. The enormous carcass is swollen and decaying. He works beside it, slicing through flesh while battling the unbearable odor. The moment is disturbing not only because of the task, but because of the setting and exposed shoreline where the smell of death can drift for miles. As daylight fades,
Oh, I need to adjust my nose plugs. Oh, that was bad. That was the worst smell I've ever smelled in my life. Oh. Well, I got through the skin and now I'm just trying to figure out where the walrus's neck is. And where the head ends and the body begins is not exactly obvious. So I'm having to cut away pieces and kind of search around, and it's, I nicked my glove. Gotta make sure my finger's okay. I'm not sure if he even went all the way through the skin. It's really common for walruses to have trichinosis, and I don't want to catch any weird diseases. Well, I spent about an hour cutting. Sit down with the knife and cut off as many bits of flesh as I can. And I don't care how ridiculous these nose plugs look, they're an absolute lifesaver. That is noticeably heavier. But now that I've got my walrus head, I've got to hold on to it. I guess I'm technically trolling for bears at this point. A little break, a little drink, a little snack. Let's do another quarter mile or two. Oh, my back. Oh. But if I keep taking breaks, I think I can save my back. Tell you, this is exhausting, but what a beautiful day to be exhausted. And not being mauled by a bear is just a real cherry on top. I'm really anxious to see if any animals messed with my stuff. Probably gonna be okay. Looks like my gear's all here. Yay, I am tired. Oh, there's a hole in the bag and the walrus head just leaked goo all over the sled. I got maybe an hour before it gets really dark, so I'm gonna try to gather firewood. Tell you what, firewood's a lot lighter than walrus heads.
Luke hauls the severed walrus head back toward camp, knowingly using it as bait for bears. Every step leaves blood and scent behind, practically announcing his position inside grizzly country as darkness moves in.
The fire doesn't need to be big and scary. It doesn't need to last all night. Sending smoke downwind the same direction as that walrus smell. So any bear that picks up the smell of the walrus will also know there's a human here. Most animals around. I'm seeing the last little bit of the sun disappear over the horizon. All right, guys, I'm going to sleep. I'll see you in the morning. I'm going to bed.
Night drops over camp. Luke climbs into his tent while mosquitoes cover the mesh, drawn by warmth and odor. the beach becomes silent. With predators hidden and no escape, he makes himself sleep, knowing rest is the only way to keep going. Luke never sees a bear on camera, but with fresh tracks and a scent line stretching for miles, one question remains. Did nothing trail him, or did something decide to stay out of sight? On June 17, 2022, Bahadur camps alone beside a woodland lake while a violent storm rolls in. The footage comes from TR Wilderness, Bahadur College, a channel known for quiet, realistic solo camping. No narration, only rain, thunder, and a night that refuses to calm. He anchors his tent near the water as the rain grows stronger, knowing that once the storm peaks, leaving won't be possible. It feels exposed open lake, surrounding trees, no shelter. Inside the tent, he lights a small stove and closes himself in. Rain and thunder slam the fabric inches from his face. What makes it disturbing is not what he sees, but what he hears and how fragile the barrier is. As water starts flowing near the tent, he stays still, saving energy. With no safer choice, he lies down and forces himself to rest, waiting for the storm to pass. Viewers describe the fear as quiet, nothing attacks, yet constant weather pressure creates real psychological strain. It seems peaceful on screen, but would it feel the same if you were alone inside that tent all night? July 19th, 2023. Far inside West Africa. The route toward Abidjan seemed to run forever through silence and thick mud. Filming from the journey was Norley, better known online as Itchy Boots, a lone motorcyclist who had ridden across continents, chasing freedom in travel's roughest edges. Her videos often highlight wide-open roads, but that day, the road became the challenge itself.
Let me hit.
Heavy bike. You're gonna ride? Oh.
Grizzly, how's she gonna be crying? Ah, that's good now. She gonna be crying. Take time, it's England. Take time, England. I'll be okay. Yeah, you should get out of this. Don't worry. Yeah. No, I'm not finishing. Gago! Vai lá, Goro. Hey, yo. What's up? Hey, come here. Oh! Water. Yeah, not bad, bro. Yeah. Water. Okay. Yeah, mama, wait, move on the mud, jump back in. Let me have a look. Small difficulties.
Small difficult?
Yeah. No, small difficult. Let's just cross the last track.
Okay, then the engine must cool down.
Yeah, cool down.
Because it's getting too hot. But this is the worst part, right?
Yeah, no, it's the worst one.
Worst one?
Yeah, but the very place that I find it difficult from the beginning is much easier than this one. So let's just help you cross it. There's a little building right here. Yeah, we'll pack it.
But then after that, until the border with Côte d'Ivoire, it's okay?
No. Quota.
It's okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
How long have you been here stuck?
2
weeks.
One more plugs.
And still more people are coming, they don't know.
Yeah.
No solution right now.
Nobody coming to fix the road?
Nobody, no government, nothing.
Nothing?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's not good, yeah.
So that go, then you will be ahead of us. Anywhere you get stuck, we'll help you and push it a little bit. So that just give you a last lift.
Okay, alright then. Thank you.
Well, look at the distance. Why they want to my man, a small window. Yeah.
The way to Abidjan looked less like a highway and more like a channel of mud. Trucks and buses sat frozen, their tires buried deep in sludge. Norali eased her motorcycle. Alaska, through the mess. Yet every few meters the wheels sank again and spun without traction. Mud stuck to her boots and legs, while the bike's weight pressed farther down with every try. Around her, engines strained and voices rose, but the road offered no relief. For hours, she pushed, lifted, and struggled forward until fatigue began to win. Then help appeared from farther down the road, a young man named Lawrence, steady and calm. He crossed the same mud with skill that almost seemed impossible. He stepped in immediately, helping Norali push and guide Alaska through the swamp as though he had done it countless times before. Together, they fought through the worst section, inch by inch, until firm ground finally returned under the tires. It was a small victory, temporary, fragile, and earned the hard way. But once the pressure eased, a new issue revealed itself. The motorcycle did not sound normal anymore.
My clutch is burnt. He burned my clutch. Honestly, I don't blame him. Some people were stuck there for 2 weeks, others already for a month. Can you believe that? All those people stuck there for a month. They say the government doesn't do anything for the road and there's no solution. I had to get past it. So now my clutch is burnt, my clutch plates are burnt. I don't carry them spare with me. I have to make it straight to Abidjan in Côte d'Ivoire. That's my only option. That is still more than 500 kilometers from here. So I'll do it. Maybe better this side or not? Because my tires are a bit bigger.
Starting. I'll reach to the next time. Rest small for like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we pick up.
How far to Plibo?
Yeah, you will reach Plibo soon. Yeah. From the next time, you will be getting on the quota.
Okay.
Yeah, you will get on the quota. The quota is about 1 hour 15 minutes. You get the people.
1 hour 15.
Yeah, 1 hour 15 minutes.
Anyway, I could finally stop to change the battery of my helmet camera because Lawrence, so that's the guy who saved Alaska through the mud, he dropped off his passenger here. So we stopped for a second, so I could finally change the battery because my helmet camera died a long time ago. It was really bad. I mean, after that really bad spot where people have been stuck for a month, there were a few more places where trucks were stuck. And then you get like these fuel trucks carrying 6,000 liters of fuel, and still more vehicles just pile up there. Maybe I should eat something here. I am so hungry.
And I'm missing, there's supposed to be moments where there's a mud guard.
Yeah.
There's a flap here.
Yeah.
That's why
Close.
Come on, catch gear. Come on.
So how is it called again, this food?
Pan butter.
Pan butter.
Pan butter with meat.
With meat. Chicken?
Yes. No.
No. Cow. Goat.
Yes, black meat from the bush.
So it's not shifting. I just managed to get into like 4th gear and then they stopped me. Now I can't shift gear anymore. Yeah, this is not good. I'm going 20 and supposedly in 6th gear. Oh no. Come on, come on, come on. It's like as if the clutch is in all the time, but it's not. But this is a problem.
The gears fought back, and the engine faltered under the load. The clutch had burned from too much friction and too little cooling time. Alaska had carried Norley over continents. Yet now the bike that represented freedom could barely keep moving. She had no replacement parts, no nearby mechanic, and still faced more than 500 kilometers of road before reaching Abidjan. Norley continued anyway. In a small town, she stopped to wash away the mud and eat a basic meal before parting ways with Lawrence. Alone again, she moved forward slowly, working through damaged gears as rain started falling. The distance ahead remained long, but she would not stop. Even with the motorcycle failing under her, Norali kept riding, slow, steady, and undeterred. Later, viewers praised Lawrence as a hero, a quiet example of kindness surviving in the harshest conditions. Others saw more than a damaged bike in the struggle. They saw how delicate adventure becomes when the road pushes back. By the end, Norali was still moving, slower than before, but not broken. As she disappeared into the distance, one question remained. Had the road tested her, or had the world shown how far strength can truly reach? October 19th, 2025 Peak District, England. Outdoor creator Mayella, from the YouTube channel Mayella, known for quiet solo wild camping films, left for a different trip this time with her father. The plan was simple. Spend one night beside the river, wrapped in fog and silence. But in places like these, stillness can lie. What started as a calm getaway would quickly become a struggle with the weather.
So we're on another wild camp, and today I'm with my dad, who's way over there. So I'm just trying to get to this spot. We have to find a different way to get to this spot because the river is literally just crazy. So we need to go up and then go down again. So should be interesting. Down ka din. Abang ka? Okay, so we're here at this spot. Don't know if you can hear me right now. There isn't enough space for 2 tents, so me and Dad are just gonna share 1 tent and we're gonna put the tarp up. So let's get going because we're tired.
The video begins with Mayella and her father crossing soaked ground, while the roar of moving water grows stronger as the camera turns toward a swollen river. She points out how forceful the current has become, pushing them to climb higher before searching for another route down. Once they arrive at camp, the ground is too slanted for 2 tents, so they sleep in one under a tarp while fog spreads through the valley. The air feels dense, and daylight disappears quickly. As time passes, conditions get worse. Rain grows heavier, the earth becomes mud, and the river continues rising. Understanding the danger, they choose to leave the camp.
Okay guys, so we made the hard decision that we're gonna abandon camp because the river is rising so much and it's already like we're so damp here now, like more so than earlier. So we decided that it's just a no-go today and just gonna go home. It's a shame, but yeah.
The footage shows them hurrying, packing soaked equipment beneath a darkening sky. When they reach the car, both are tired, but still safe. Inside, her father says safety has to come first. Later, they show that a huge tree had fallen near their camp, proof that walking away was the right decision. Back in the car, Maela reveals scratches and bruises from the rough ground. The outing, she admits, did not go well, but that is why she posted it. In the wild, not every story ends with scenery. Sometimes survival is the only reward.
It's a shame that we had to abandon, but at the same time, it's understandable why we needed to. We really tried to push it as much as we can. We even put the tarp up, but it just wasn't happening. And I've got tons of cuts because I fell over so many times. To be honest with you, it's really nice here, but I don't think I'll come here when it's raining again.
Viewers applauded their choice to leave, while others pointed out the danger of camping that close to water. Maybe it was only bad luck, or maybe nature was giving them a quiet warning. They got out before the flood reached the tent, but as the footage fades gray, one thought remains. Did they leave because they chose to, or because the river chose for them? Meet the man behind the YouTube channel, The Northwest Wind, a dedicated outdoorsman who records stealth camping trips in remote, off-trail areas. His uploads normally show quiet nights outside, simple escapes designed to step away from life. But during this outing, he would discover how quickly solitude can become dangerous when forest silence is broken by an unwelcome human presence. The trip began at a park, where he planned to leave official paths and find a hidden place to sleep. He understood that camping there was not allowed, but the challenge of staying hidden was part of the draw.
I made it with Claudio. Claudio, ¿qué tal? Hola. Right now we're going to be going into the forest and we're going to be going deeper into there. I just waited for him to get back, but it is starting to get nightfall and the time is now 5:52. On top of that, we also found out that there's a bunch of missing people that go on missing through this whole forest. Wow, that's dangerous. The thing is, that's kind of dangerous because at the same time at night, I probably wouldn't have seen that. I could probably slip in there and fall, but I don't know what that's connected to. So a lot of this just goes to show you that the forest just keeps going on and on. The things that he was finding out about this place as far as missing people go, they are skeptical and thinking that maybe it could have been, what do you call that? They probably used people for like sacrificial stuff. And that's probably why they went missing. This is more like a missing 411 kind of location.
After hiking deeper into the woods, he pushed through brush toward what seemed like a level clearing suitable for a small bivvy tent. Just when he thought he had found the right place, he noticed something disturbing. Ripped remains of an older tent and tarp. The find changed the mood. Someone had obviously stayed there before, yet the damaged condition of the abandoned equipment.
Holy shit. Look what I finally found. I don't know if you guys ever read Reddit stories about creepy stuff, but there's stories about staircases that are found in the woods and you're not supposed to go near them. And if you see the staircases, you are to walk away because weird things will start happening. Could put you in a different place or something. But look at this. This looks like it was just teleported here in the middle of the fucking forest.
Raised questions about who that camper was and why the site had been left so suddenly. Despite the unease, he kept building his camp. When dusk arrived, dense fog moved between the trees, and a sense of being watched settled over him. He tried pushing it aside while making dinner, telling himself the park was open to the public, even though he was far from the trails. Still, the feeling stayed with him, heavy and persistent. Later that night.
And then you got this weird stuff. Look at this. There's like feathers So there's feathers in this cup, and then right inside there is wrapped with string and rope. That could be witchcraft. Could very well be, but this is where they do a lot of sacrifices, is right here.
While he was inside his tent, the situation became worse. Footsteps came closer, extremely close. He listened closely and understood that 2 people were nearby, murmuring to each other right outside his shelter. When he called toward them, nobody answered. Soon after, hands pushed into the tent.
The fire we got going on here. It was really muggy and humid. But the good news is that this fire,
Followed by hard pulling that brought the shelter down over him. Panicked, he broke out of the tent and ran. Abandoning all of his equipment, the smell of cigarette smoke hung in the air as he saw 2 figures above his camp. He rushed through the dark woods, stumbling again and again.
you heard a scream? ¿Escuchaste un grito? Sí. Oh, sí, yo lo escuché. ¿También? Sí. So we just heard another scream from the... See? See, I'm thinking we're gonna have to turn off the light because the fire, because it might be calling people over here. See, there is someone singing right now out in the dark. You just saw eyes glowing, and I've seen those eyes before. If you guys see what I think I'm seeing, hold on, I'm gonna use my other camera here. Switching to my psionics. If you see eyes glowing, I've seen that somewhere else. ¿Qué es eso? I just heard something to my left here. Oh, this is fucking creepy. Oh, yo lo tengo.
Children want to speak.
Here we go. Okay.
She's coming.
¿Vio algo? Sí. He just saw something. Hola?
Until he reached an open area and spotted a light coming toward him. That was enough to make him sprint back to his car. The following morning, he returned carefully to collect his things. His fears were confirmed when he found the campsite had been tampered with. Tent stakes removed and his dry bag opened. This was not a random misunderstanding or harmless joke. Someone had deliberately touched his gear, though he escaped physically unharmed. The fear stayed with him mentally. Who were those strangers, and why had they singled him out? Were they only trying to frighten him into leaving? Or did timing prevent something worse? Cases like this leave one unsettling question. When stealth camping turns wrong, is the true danger ever the wilderness itself, or the people concealed inside it? On March 20th, 2018, on a wet, cold night at Poco Lake in Indiana, camper Austin Armstrong reached the campground expecting only quiet, rain-soaked air, and the familiar warmth of a fire. The site was deserted. The weather was worsening. Yet Austin accepted the challenge.
Let me tell you, it's kind of cold now. It's only like 17 degrees Celsius. And what is that? There's something in the road there. Looks like nothing. Yeah, the roads getting in and out are a little bit feisty, so we got to take it easy. Mind how we drive in here. So we just do got to be cautious of, leaving food around and stuff like that. And then obviously we got to be cautious of moose because they're also out here, apparently. Confirmed by the locals. I wasn't expecting that. I've literally... But yeah, it's been pretty quiet. I mean, I've been recording, but haven't really been getting anything.
The job felt normal looking over the ground, snapping damp limbs, and moving between the flames in the nearby forest, while the distant shape of the campground stayed barely visible. Nothing seemed unusual, almost calm. Then the peace broke instantly. One huge, violent boom rolled through the woods, too heavy and loud to sound like a breaking branch or falling limb. Austin stopped in place while the noise hung there. Close and deliberate, he swept his flashlight across the darkness, but the forest gave him no answer, no movement, no eyeshine, only silence. Another sound followed, deeper and more cutting, like something shifting position or climbing nearby.
Why did it just sound like somebody coughed? Hello? That was fucking weird. Somebody back there? Legit sounded like it was behind me. Let me see if I hear some. I'm getting pretty lucky right now. Okay. Somebody just clapped again. Who's there? Bushes.
Leo.
Who the hell is Leo? Alright, I'm gonna go check. Hello? Like it legit sounded like it was right back there. The fuck could that have been? Like it sounded...
It felt purposeful, too quick and powerful to brush away. Austin tried explaining it to himself, hoping it was firewood collapsing, but the size of the noise did not fit. The woods felt changed now, almost as if they were watching him. He checked around carefully and discovered nothing. No visible animal. No clear source, just a fallen sign and the rising feeling that something unseen had been nearby the whole time.
If we have a good connection to Starlink as well. But yeah, I just want to give you one more good view of the lake. It is so foggy this morning. It's crazy, super eerie. I didn't really hear anything else throughout the night, but yeah, this spot is creepy. So what I think I'm gonna do, there's another lake.
When he went back to camp, the rain returned, weakening the fire and his confidence with it. To calm himself, he left music playing, hoping to push the uneasiness away. The night went on, but the mystery stayed unresolved. Whether the noise came from a large animal, moving debris, or something harder to identify remains unknown. What is clear is how fast isolation became disturbing. So if you were alone in the forest and heard something that strong moving outside your light, would you remain and would you ever feel alone out there again?